Instead of the shallow molly they put down previously that didn't really stop the mid-aggression, this time it goes deep, this time it forces them back, but the tunnels push isn't working according to plan right now. Shush goes down, Bubsky wasn't ready for the refrag. At least they have got that tunnels control though. That gives Tricked a bit more comfort on that B site, but Bubsky decides it's a bit risky to hang around. He's going to fall back, and it's Acor's AWP, again finding a good kill.
Seems to be fairly consistent, seems to be, you know, chiming in most rounds. Another one coming through for him. 4 on 3. Roy manages to find a head with the Krieg. Flash coming over the top, straight into Acor, mate. This A-hold's been absolutely stellar. Acor coming in with the 4K. Beautiful stuff on the AWP from him. Hopefully we'll get to see a bit of it on the replay. But all the same, up to 11 kills now, looking really, really strong. If he can continue this, you know, it's going to give Trick the room that they need to come back in. And 6 rounds on the T side from GAMERLEGION, it's good early on. But if it stays at this scoreline, you know, if they're not able to pick up anymore, if they can't bounce back here, because Trick seemed to have really hit a groove in the last couple of rounds, I think it's going to be difficult for GAMERLEGION. They do seem to be a bit more prevalent on the CT sides, I feel, but it's Dust 2.
Yeah, and I think Tricked in the past have maybe missed having an AWPer who is really one of the focal points of the team. It always felt like Acor was middle of the pack, but now we're seeing him really come into his element, and somehow Bubsky survives there. The Desert Eagle, hard to control after you fire that first shot. Feels like the next ones can go pretty much anywhere. GAMERLEGION really feeling that, unfortunately. Unable to land the shots necessary to get an opening kill in this round. Desert Eagles not doing too much. Now that GAMERLEGION are down in a 3v5, just a single smoke to work with. It remains up to the Desert Eagles to land some shots. But I don't really see how that is going to happen, especially when there are SGs and AWPs waiting for you on the A site.
They did so well in the last round as well, so if this continues, it's going to start to look really difficult for GAMERLEGION to penetrate the A site. They will manage to get one. But as I'm talking, there's just frags coming in all over the shop. It's a sea of blue there towards the kill feed. Crowd getting a bit more lively. Love to hear that. I believe there is someone with a bloody vuvuzela. We're not going to get a repeat. You remember the 20? Oi. But at the same time, every now and then, you know, a bit of hype is always good. Give it a bit of tooting, you know. I think it's going to get pretty hype in here for the next semi, though, when Gambit youngsters are playing. GAMERLEGION have hit a rut. They hit a brick wall. Need to get out of it and quickly, because like I say, 6 rounds on the T side.
Hold A long, get a couple of kills in the process, and this time around they are heavily committing to A long. Freddy B pushing alone, and you can't really afford to do that at the start of the round. It's a massive risk. If there are plenty of CTs there with nades ready, they are more than likely going to get you down. Bubsky is solo holding B though, and with the AWP, this is not the best weapon for the job right now. It's going to be close quarters combat for the sniper. He's done enough though, he slowed it down, he's allowed the rotation. Hunden quickly traded out. Hampus continuing to try and push the site, but GAMERLEGION have been stifled until Hampus gets that kill. Now they have the bomb site, and Hampus actually finds a double there. I think the second one came through the door. Roy emerging through the window. This is just all action as Roy gets another, and Shoots pushes in. Tricked fight for the site. They don't allow the bomb to go down. They don't need to play for retake because they rotate everyone over to B.
Yeah, man, that's looking so good. It looked like they'd let it slip away, you know, and I saw Roy go through there and I felt, oh, this might be a bit crazy, a bit too aggressive, you know, maybe just slow things down, try and recover it back. But no, what do I know is they just go rushing in, picking up a huge 2K in a matter of seconds. That Krieg really helping out, but all the same, a brilliant recovery in the moment. GAMERLEGION looked like they were indeed going to get back into things and find the round that they needed to stop the tear that Tricked are on right now. What are we looking at? 5 in a row. It is indeed, yeah, from Tricked. So that's scary. GAMERLEGION starting off so very strong here on Dust 2. First map, their pick in the semi-final, and yet Tricked just seem to have their number. Bubsky almost picking up 2 on the spray down. One's good. He gets a lot of information in as well for the rest of the team, and let's be honest, this A-hold has been so good. They've also got Roy in pretty quick rotation here, playing towards the A side of mid. Oh, actually going to try and go for a flank, maybe. He's thinking about it, but second guesses himself. However, moving in towards the A site here, there's going to be 3 players ready. Acor on the corner does get flashed off. Counter utility coming in, however, going to allow him to get the position back in. Oh, he might just have missed that one. Goes for the flick, not quite able to land it. So at the very least, the bomb going to get planted. But now Trick know it. 4 versus 4. However, I think retaking this A bomb site shouldn't be too hard for them. No utility at all for GAMERLEGION.
GAMERLEGION have got the short control though. Trick aren't sending a player there right now. It's all about getting these kills on the site first, and they're trying to do that. They're swarming the site itself. Hunden with a quick double, and now they have a molly for sure if they need it, but they might not. Both players low here. Nork with a Deeg in hand, and in the midst of the madness, the Molotov has been lost. They can't molly off this position. They need the kill, and they do find it. Acor spots out Nork. I think you saw at the start of the round there, as the push was coming in, Acor was actually playing anti-flash, expecting those flashes to come sooner. But then he turns around as the flash comes through because GAMERLEGION was so slow at throwing the flash. So it's a bit unfortunate for Acor just how that timing worked out. That's why he had to just let them get onto the bomb site. But like we said, the A site retakes are very doable, especially against pistols. If you can isolate those players on the site at the beginning, and it was Hunden who really pushed through and made sure that retake happened.
And look, man, these past few rounds have been coming close for Tricked. Yeah, but in the, oh, Draken, nice spawn, nice pick. Maybe I'll hold the point, as he's going to try and go for another one. Takes a nade right to the cranium. However, Acor walks into him, and the follow-up nade is not fast enough. So nice 2K for Draken to open things up. But yeah, as I was kind of saying, it's been coming close for Trick. So A, their economy is not perfect, right? GAMERLEGION can very easily get back in here in the next couple rounds. However, I just think it's the fact that it's like Tricked in these high-octane, high-pressure situations. You know, the clutch is required. They're a man down even. Rather than saving and playing passive, they're confident enough, they're skilled enough, and they're successful enough in these recovery moments, which is very scary. Particularly on the CT side. You can see it on the T side. That happens quite often in games. But on the CT side, when your B bomb site has fallen, there's only 2 of you left against 3 people, normally you save. But they just go for it, and it works. The A site there, it comes a bit close. There's only a couple of them surviving, but when they're on low HP, when it's like they need to find the kill, no Molotov, they get it done. In towards B, though, will go GAMERLEGION, and they are so ready on the CT side. Rusty does get a quick one up close, and it's only 1 kill coming in. Slightly surprising stuff. Nice smoke from Bubsky to get rid of the molly there. Manages to do a lot of damage, also finding one on the edge of the smoke. What has happened there? I thought there was like some team damage coming in, but not quite. I don't understand. GAMERLEGION, they've let it slip. It's a 2v2. They've only got 20 seconds to rotate back towards A, and I don't think it's going to happen. The bomb has been dropped. GAMERLEGION have let it slip through their fingers. How has this happened? Draken, oh, he's not even going to find a single one. Roy dies to the molly, but they get the round. Hunden absolutely loving it as well. That's a big funny moment, you silly idiot. But they managed to get the round. It's not, you know, tears, it is laughter. Tricked have really stepped it up towards the end of this first half, man.
Yeah, I feel this is more the lack of coordination from GAMERLEGION, though. 2 players push into the B site, then they look like they're going to take B, and then they decide not really to commit. Nork goes in, the rest of the players double back. It's really not what you want to do at that point. Just stick together, try and make sure you can trade it out. I think they got a bit panicked because they realized that there were 2 players probably on that B site, but not really committing to the call, not really calling off the push quickly enough. You wonder if it comes back to, I know that Freddie B is now taking over as in-game leader for this squad, but it feels as though there are probably multiple players making calls here because we know Campus is available. I'm sure, yeah, it probably does. I don't think there's a player you can go to like Hunden who's going to say, I'm going to make most of the calls for the team on the GAMERLEGION side. Maybe that comes into play there as they half commit to the B site. They kind of dip their toe in, but don't really throw themselves into it. Oh my God, we've got a Bison for Nork. Hello?
What is going on here, mate?
Is that a misbuy?
It's got to be, right? Instead of like a Mac 10 or a UMP, maybe. I think it's quite close to the UMP on the buy.
The PP shooter.
Yeah, that's problematic. We'll see, though. The rest of the boys looking to lead the way. Draken is angry in this round. Hey,
oh my God.
PP buys and manages to get a kill. Draken, though, look at that. A quick 4K to just clean up the half. Where did that just come from, GAMERLEGION? They have just stepped up massively. That's a big, big round from Draken. gives them a bit of room. It's still not ideal, you know, a round down at the turn of the half after coming in from the T side, but this is what I was saying, their CT sides I think are a lot more effective, to be honest with you, but then it's just 2, so it's kind of, you know, swings and roundabouts, take it with a pinch of salt. Tricked as well, looking very dominant in some of those rounds.
Yeah, and I think after the strong start from GAMERLEGION, after the 6-1 lead that they took, the only rounds they seemed to compete in at the end here were just rounds where Draken had huge impact at the start. I mean, round 14, just the one earlier than this one, it was Draken getting the 2 opening kills at A-Long, put them in a position where they should have won.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So it kind of feels like it is only Draken carrying them through at the end here, but because they got such a good start, they are still very much in this game. 7 rounds on the board. It does feel as though Tricked are really starting to find their footing here, though. And the point I was making earlier is that it just felt like Tricked had a slow start individually. But now that the individuals are showing up, we're seeing the superior team play and tactics shine through.
Yeah, A-Core massively, right? That ace bomb site became impossible to take because he was just hitting his shots, right, and able to drop back, as AWPers do on the CT side of Dust 2. You know, you hold the angle at short, drop back, kind of double scope in, go for a bit of a harder angle, but still another angle nonetheless. Interesting, Hampus. I talked to him yesterday. I was like, you guys play well today. And he went, yeah, easy peasy. So he's out with the Deagle. He's feeling confident for sure. A-Core going to find a quick headshot onto Draken, though. The rotation coming in. Rusty being left as the B anchor. There's 2 players in the middle that could get caught in transition here. Not quite yet, but, you know, they've been split off. Smoke going to come through. Hampus going to have to go huge on the Deagle. Spamming away. Oh, my God, he does so much damage. Not able to find the frag, and Bubsky goes, thank you very much. He will get taken down by Rusty, but he's going to have to step up massively. Doesn't happen. Bomb plant coming in. 4 versus 2. GAMERLEGION desperate for this round, and Nork now the only one left. It seems to have fallen apart, and A-Core, as the smoke dissipates, gets the last kill. A 4K coming in for the big man. As we said, looking so good on the CT side, and then into the T side, it seems to continue for him. Oh, that's a nasty one, isn't it? Not only does he get blinded, he's also got a Glock in midair that he's got to try and find. Trick, though, with the pistol. I mean, surely now GAMERLEGION are starting to worry about their map pick.
It's always very strange to see the Deegs bought on the CT pistol when the USP has the one-shot headshot capability. I think Hampus was playing close there and just hoping to spam with it, because that's the advantage, but surely a CZ's kind of better for that.
Yeah, T-side's kind of, you can see it because you can contest, right? Like, let's say mid, for example, on Cash was kind of a famous one. Sometimes, like, Simple started doing it towards the end of Cash in the competitive pool. Either way, we see a quick lower tunnels push there. Freddie B manages to find an early frag. Has yet to be traded back, gets his hands onto a UMP as well. There's no kit available for GAMERLEGION. They leave their A bomb site via long, you know, very exposed. So they've got the bomb down. Tricked have got that kind of sigh of relief. GAMERLEGION are going to have to move quickly, but that makes it difficult. You get panicked. You don't check angles. However, when they do check the angles, they're finding the headshots. 5 on 2. This could be a big round if they're able to pick it up. Roy and Hunden, the dynamic duo, are going to have to hold things down for just a little while longer. The bomb's so far ticked. Have they done enough? Have they done enough? I think it's going to be awfully close on this defuse, but I think they've just about got it. They seem happy with the fact that they have. Yes, indeed. I think, oh my God, that's so very close. Oh, it actually goes off. It actually goes off. They win it. They win it. I was so kind of thrown off because, like, we've got the bomb sound out here. It looked like the bar had still got a bit left on it on the UI. And they were, you know what I mean? I don't know whether they play. I like play with the 10-second timer, like music that comes up and stuff, right? And do it for casting when I'm at home. It looked like Draken, you know, he's like one finger on it, fist bumping the guy next to him, like, yeah, got it easy, boys. That is such a shame. Tricked bailed out.
Yeah,
like half a second bailed out.
Yeah, they will be counting their lucky stars. They did not lose that round. It's a round where GAMERLEGION just flex their individual muscles, flex their individual ability, land 3 headshots with the Desert Eagles without the reply coming through. The problem normally with those Deeg buys is that maybe 1 or 2 players land shots, but not normally your entire team connecting. And because that happened, all of a sudden Tricked were just hoping that they could buy time in the 2v5, and they just about managed to do enough. GAMERLEGION don't want to give up on this one too easily, though. They know they've done damage. They know that Tricked have got to rebuy across the board, so they will be forcing up with the 2 saved SGs. it's quite an even buy between these two teams at this point. 3 premium rifles for both squads. Not a massive difference. In fact, I think it's those are the 2 Galils for Tricked. So not even the premium rifles, only the 2 SGs for the Tricked side of things.
A little cheeky, isn't it?
Very slow round from Tricked as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, on this weaker weaponry, it might come back to haunt them in a sense. They go towards B. They do have 1 player in tunnels, but only 1. Draken caught in transition. Hamper's still around with his deagle. He's dropped the bomb. However, there are Ts everywhere. They are littered about that B side of the map. Kills coming in left, right, and center, down to a 2 versus 2. The bomb recovered, and it will be planted by Shush. No kit once again for the CT side, but some strong weaponry. They will retrieve a kit, and I think they're very smart here. They recognize that this player in on the site is most likely isolated. Bubsky coming in from behind at the right time, though, manages to take out Nork, and now Freddie B is in between a rock and a hard place, and he doesn't know where the rock is at. He's got to locate Shush quickly. Oh, and Shush with the quick reaction will take him down. Hunden's like, hell yeah, boys, let's go. Picking up another round. The T-side off to a fire start here for Tricked. And the thing is, again, it's close in some of these rounds. You know, they win via time on the bomb. They win with only 2 players surviving there. It is so very close, but they don't care because they're the ones under pressure that are performing.
And look, these player booths are directly in front of each other, so anything that Hunden does is visible to the GAMERLEGION guys if they are looking at him. Clearly very happy with winning that round because it puts Tricked in such a strong position. We were talking about how this is the pick of GAMERLEGION, but that it felt like quite a risky pick for them. Whereas Tricked have got a much more solid map for them in Train, and one that GAMERLEGION have struggled on. Just a 20% win percentage for GAMERLEGION on Train in the last 3 months. That's not the map you want to be resting your tournament life on. They'll be hoping they can come back into Dust 2. It just feels like Tricked have completely taken over this game. Remember, it was a 6-1 lead for GAMERLEGION at one point. It's been an absolute turnaround at the highest degree here. The only round that GAMERLEGION have won after that 6-1 lead that they had was just that one round that Draken went huge.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all they've had.
The unit of GAMERLEGION seems to have dropped off an absolute cliff, right? And that's something that we worry about. This team, I think, you know, sure there's multiple iterations, but have seen them for quite some time with this main core. And they really struggle with finding a way back into games, right? It's kind of a classic with the mixers. We see it with Mix, the squad that's been making waves over in ECS. It's like, if it's going well, they're kind of unstoppable. Yeah, they look really good. They've got a lot of talent, a lot of firepower. Confidence is everything for these players. If it's not going well, the deeper sort of, you know, recovery and knowledge and breakdown of, okay, this is why we're losing rounds, this is how we're going to start winning rounds, this is what we need to do to facilitate that, is not quite there, right? They need a Pronax. They need someone to bail them out in situations like this, to give the talent, the, you know, the all-aim kind of players a lifeline. They are drowning right now. They need someone to throw them the rubber ring and the rope to pull them back into safety. And unfortunately, I think they are kind of lacking in that sense. Particularly on a map like Dust 2. It makes it even harder, right? How do you come back in? Well, just aim better, really. You know, stop getting caught off by rushers. Stop getting clapped in the head by the likes of Roy and A-Core.
And the 2 players that we've been talking about as really performing for GAMERLEGION have been struggling so far in this game. It's Draken who showed up instead, but this time Shush trades him out. Tricked with a high-paced play, but because they've got the even trades, this could be very good for them. And Roy's SG is looking unstoppable right now. 2 quick kills from him, but they're not looking Rusty's way. He gets 1 for free, but he can't fall back. A-Core in with the refrag. The bomb has been dropped, though, so Hampus has got a real chance at winning this round. Trick trying to stick together. They jump on in, and Hampus sprays away with the SG, taking them both and taking a much-needed round for the team. And I was just talking about how Hampus has been quiet. Freddie B has been quiet, the 2 best performers. That could be a round which they think back on as a big momentum booster.
Love to see that, don't you? Absolutely love it. That's something that the Krieg facilitates, sorry. These super clean spray transfers. That is bellissimo. That's not so much from Freddie B. He fails the molly. Although, maybe this is a bit of a bait play, actually. Okay, they're going to watch for it. That was kind of smart in a sense. I'm not sure whether it was intentional, but he threw the molly off the wall behind him so that the flames are still there. Maybe the T side, you know, are like, oh, there's a molly, we can't go that way. Let's not even look that way. And he runs through, yeah? However, he's heard at the last moment. Shush will take him down, and the crazy Hail Mary kind of play doesn't really work out. He was on a UMP. We've got Rusty and Draken on MP9s. Not ideal for GAMERLEGION, but they're looking to hang on by the thread right now. And they do so. Tricked. Losing a round. Has yet to really happen in the second half. Got to try and recover it back. And look at this, Orca. They're moving in towards B. Draken can go for an ill-timed peek and gets collapsed. If he had an M4 or a Krieg of his own or an Orb, it may well have gone well for him, but unfortunately not. The economy, the worst enemy right now of GAMERLEGION. Bubsky with a double spray of his own, giving Hampus a taste of his own medicine, and Rusty will be the only one left. As soon as they get a foot back in the door, they are slammed straight back out. Trick not letting nobody in right now.
Hunden spots the man. Galil in hand, and there's the headshot. Closing out the round pretty comfortably in the end. And I think this is a return to more of what we expect from Tricked, where Hunden's more at the bottom of the board, but at the same time, he is oftentimes, you know, going in first. He is making good calls.
And he's facilitating,
still getting a decent amount of kills.
Right, and facilitating the rest of the team. That's what it's all about. That's what he is all about. Acor at the moment, 4 for 1 on the opening duels. Draken 5 for 1, interestingly enough. And Draken's actually playing relatively well, as you said. It is kind of those are the names that you expect to be there. Not looking so good for them. What has happened here? Roy just pushing forward, continues to move forward. He's done so much damage. Bubsky going to steal away his ace. God damn it. The final kill comes through for Shush. Tricked have just absolutely rolled them over in that round. Sure, it was a weaker buy, but that looks almost too easy, too clean. Just spraying down on the Kriegs. Tricked are absolutely unstoppable. There is a little bit of an ugly blue skull there, but so far this second half has been absolutely flawless. Again, folks, to remind you on their opponent's map pick, second map Train, GAMERLEGION, no likey Train. It's going to be hard for them. It's going to be very hard for them to bounce back. And then, of course, you know, to bounce back 2 on the BM map after that. Perfect flashbang onto Draken. He gets pushed off. Roy not going to chase him down, but at the very least forces him off.
The B site is so vulnerable right now. It's actually open. Hampus has rotated to mid to try and hold this off. You can see how scared GAMERLEGION are of this early mid aggression. Hampus has found one though, so maybe now they can go back into a more standard setup. They seem to have stopped the early mid take that Tricked were attempting. Now that GAMERLEGION have the man advantage, they can try to just sit pretty in this round. They've got the 2 orcs for Draken and North. They've got all the opportunities to close out this round, but Tricked have been winning so many of the recent rounds. We need to see GAMERLEGION step up now.
They can't put a foot wrong. This comeback train, it's all about keeping Tricked away from 15 rounds. And that may just have fallen by the wayside. They do bring it back into, you know, a man advantage here. Draken, there's no smoke to block him off, actually. And he's going to get another one. Draken not firing as he sees the bomb go in. Look at his face, cool, calm, and collected. Ice in his veins. Oh, Acor will take him down. He was trying to stop moving and find the shot. They've got to be careful here, as, you know, it goes both ways, right? The door is open on the other side as well, so can't go peeking into the AWP. However, there's another AWP, not quite as quick. He does land the tag through the door, though, so gets the best of a bad scenario. Kit available for Freddie B, but only the one smoke. It's going to come down to the aim, mostly an Acor's back plat with the AWP. Hidden, I believe, from tunnels. Not sure if his barrel is sticking out, perhaps. Not even moving yet, though, in the tunnels. They're really waiting patiently at the moment. Peek to come through. Nork will take out Bubsky, finish off that kill from earlier. All onto Acor, back of the site. He's hidden away. Are they ready for him? I think they are. The shoulder peek comes in, and yes, there's too many men to be finding. GAMERLEGION in with a 9th. They're clinging on.
Yeah, the lack of smoke for the door being the real difference maker there. I think if Tricked have a smoke in hand, they can get onto the site and probably just close out the round win. Comes close, but GAMERLEGION get the retake to go their way. We need more from them, though. If they want to be winning that money, winning that first place prize pool, I think Dust 2 is kind of a must-win for them here. I can't even tell who the crowd are cheering for. I'm hearing noise. They're saying something, Scriv.
They certainly are, and that's all we need. They're shouting. They're getting loud, and they may just have to get a bit louder here for Tricked if they want them to win, because that's a nice opener. Roy trades one back, however, Tricked getting a bit ahead of themselves, a bit giddy. Up goes Bubsky through short on his own, no flash. Kind of trying to make a play for himself, doesn't work. Low HP for Roy here as well. With a man advantage, GAMERLEGION got a good shoe-in around number 24.
Again, Roy's SG has looked so good for Tricked. But he's going to have to do a whole lot here to bring them back into this round from the 3v4. Both Draken and Nork continuing on these two AWPs that have been the most impactful weapons for GAMERLEGION. CT's happy to sit back, safe in the knowledge that they have currently got the advantage. Tricked have got smokes this time around, though. 3 smokes if they want to go for the cross. Hunden is going to lead the charge. Making sure that his teammates are set up for the best possible chance to trade him out. Oh! But that's an unbelievable shot from Nork. Roy was jumping across to try and get there safely. Hunden does get the bomb down, and Acor has the bomb not planted for him, I don't think. I'm not sure. Either way, it's a 4v2 retake.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for the T's to hold on.
And they have smokes anyway. So if they smoke the bomb, Acor can't really hold that from long.
However, oh, he gets the tag. That could make a difference. He's not expecting the second player here. They're yet to take him down. Waiting on a return flash. Nice one picked up. They will deal with him indeed. Down goes Hunden as well. So, GAMERLEGION only lose 1 on the retake. Pretty clean stuff from them. 10th round on the board, hitting the double digits. At the moment, getting a bit of momentum and confidence, we're saying to go into the next map, I think, right? However, they're not that far away. Stone-faced, cool and ready for this comeback. As I said, yeah, my guy's impressed. He's like, yeah, that's not bad. I could probably do better, but that's not bad. Kind of has that face, and he's a bit smug, that guy. He's like, yo, what's good? Yeah, rock and roll, dude, rock and roll. Anyway, we will be moving into the next round here. GAMERLEGION, as I have said, keeping them away from 15 rounds is so very important. The longer they can do that, the more room they give themselves, right? When they do kind of inevitably, as people do, we're only human, make the mistake, they want it to be as late on as possible. Overtime would not be a bad result for them here. Double upsetter once again from GAMERLEGION. Creeping in, misses the shot. That could cost him.
Smoke goes down. Roy thinking of going through that one, though. Flashes were being lined up from Tricked. However, they may have decided against it. Roy is actually through the smoke. Draken needs to be very careful. Oh no, Draken doesn't know Roy. Playing on the edge of the smoke perfectly. Such a heads-up play from him, realizing there's an opening here. There's a chance that Draken doesn't expect this spot. And the oversight from the AWPer is a big loss early for GAMERLEGION.
The secondary AWPer then, as it seems across the course of this tournament, not usually the case. He's been moved back slightly. Let's see whether he can step it up into this round. He's going to kill one, drops a bomb. I don't think they've quite spotted it. As you can see, okay, maybe Hampus was just wary. Roy does pick up another, but he's traded back. Still doable. Whoa, and tags onto both AWPers. They both hit their shots, but not quite the kills. Nork, the second time around, is able to get it. Meanwhile, he is doing such a good job here of holding things down. Nork, what is that? Bumsky the only one left in the 1v3 to try and pick up the pieces for Tricked as it's all fallen apart. It was a beautiful play in middle from Roy to find the opener onto Draken, who seems to be the threat, seems to be the danger man, but not in this round. It's the Nork show. And yes, indeed, get the camera on him. When his cue came, he performed, he stepped up. 3K, 3 bullets, 3 shots, and my God, that headshot was nasty.
Yeah, superb shot from Nork there. Such a small window of opportunity to land that one on just the head. He's quick enough on the trigger.
First blood.
Have got Tricked down to a weak buy. This comeback is very much a possibility. They're making Tricked sweat. Even though it looked like Tricked were just taking over, GAMERLEGION aren't done yet, and Freddie B is having a fun time. 3 kills against the Pistols, job done.
Line him up and knock him down, Freddie B. Bubsky, the only one left. Does have the bomb in hand, at the very least. Baits our shot there, but he doesn't fancy his chances, really. He was hoping that he was on, like, the long corner, not the A ramp. Hampus going to deal with him. Oh, it's actually Rusty, sorry. I thought that looked a bit weird from Hampus's angle. He, like, stopped firing, and then he died. I was like, what? Is he lagging? What's going on here? But no, it was Rusty. 12th round for GAMERLEGION then. 1 or 2 more buy rounds, and Tricked really start to sweat, really start to worry. It's very similar if you look at the scores across the top, you know, across the course of the half. Tricked took a while to get rolling, and then they managed, you know, an incredible 8 rounds in a row. And then GAMERLEGION, it's kind of been a very similar kind of story. Sporadic rounds, but very recently stringing them together massively. I do apologize, it was 7 rounds in a row. I did indeed, I kind of had a quick look, had to very quickly try and count them up. But yeah, 7 in a row is still pretty damn good from Tricked on their CT side. Can GAMERLEGION repeat history and do the same? Hampus gets aggressive, doesn't look too good for him, but he manages to find the frag. He gets the better of Hunden, and it's an early advantage for the CT side.
And this goes back to Hunden's individual ability dropping off in this game from what we saw in those opening matchups. That's a fight he should be winning, but Hunden has had an off game here on Dust 2. Draken is now boosted up on the bomb site. Oh, lands that shot, but it's not enough for the frag. Roy comes back for the opening onto the A bomb site. They're attempting the boost, and Shu sprays them both. Great lineup through the smoke, and that could be the decisive moment in this round.
Nork will need to step up again here on the AWP. A lot of damage taken. They're aware of his position. There's a low HP player in the form of Bubsky that could have made a difference. They're going to run to save, Hawker. They're going to run to save. And unfortunately, you know, running away with your tail in between your legs is often demoralizing, degrading. However, they're going to have to go for it. They need these rifles into the next round. You know, Nork can drop one across as well as keep his AWP in hand. Could possibly drop an AWP to Draken. I believe the loss bonus, you know, has been moved all the way down. Yeah, it does kind of, yeah, yeah. Just waiting for HLTV to catch up on that. So they got 4 in a row before they lost one here. That will mean the loss bonus has moved all the way back down, but at the very least, they should be able to put together a buy. And very possibly with the double up setup. But Tricked, they finally hit 15 importantly, right? That's what it's all about. Yeah, as I said, keeping them away from 15 for as long as possible is what they want to do. I think it's kind of a world in which you need to be hitting like the 13 or 14 round mark before you let one slip. And that round, unfortunately, you know, it started off kind of well with the damage and whatnot. But that boost, right? That's the one mistake. Maybe if they'd have gone for it at elevator instead, where there's that safe wall in the way you can't, you know, just shoot through a smoke. Because I don't even think he was predicting the boost. They hadn't seen the boost. He was just spraying towards CT, you know, through the smoke as you do. And the low HP player on the bottom of the totem pole really screwed it.
I mean, his teammates might have spotted the boost on the site as well. We didn't really get to see because it was just so hectic. But if his teammates spotted it, if he saw it on the minimap, he could have lined it up for sure.
Because you do stick out just above the top. Hunden giving it large as they take a pause here to talk things over. Whoa! Oof. That's not the best of starts, honestly. Every little helps at this point, right? GAMERLEGION, like I say, in with the double up setup relatively cleanly here. Everybody got utility. Freddie B's on his Krieg, and Roy goes charging in towards middle. Tricked. Cracks around the edges beginning to show. Can GAMERLEGION smash the wall down?
It is a strong buy for GAMERLEGION, which is what they needed. Again, they've relied upon these AWPs to pull them through the majority of these rounds, and Nork has opened up for them. Normally it's been Draken winning those opening battles. Nork hasn't been as involved early, he's been more passive, and this time Draken is the player holding back, but it pays off for him. He doesn't realize he almost gets the chance to take the shot there, but Hunden eventually makes up for it with his spray. Freddie B rotating in, but Tricked are not committing to the A-bomb site. They're backing away at a man disadvantage, and Nork decides not to pull the trigger.
Doesn't quite land the flick. able to stay away. I think the play here really was for Bubsky to catch players in rotation, but they've not rotated because the presence from Tricked is not good enough. They're trying to make some, you know, really clever mid-round calls to draw rotations to B or to A, back to B, blah, 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 but they're just splitting up the defense evenly.
They also just don't have smokes for the cross. That's a real problem crossing from long right now.
Particularly against the Krieg. And an Org, in fairness, you know, 2 scoped weapons, it will be a bit difficult for them. Freddy B to try and hold things down. Run boost coming in. Oh, Freddy takes the bait. Oh, but he's able to reset and take down Shush. The bomb at the very least is going to get planted, but it's all on to Hunden. A big 1v4 required from the in-game leader. Not going to happen. GAMERLEGION get the 13th. It ain't quite over yet, folks. Overtime is their only option, but it is definitely doable. 2 rounds, the difference. I don't think even with the bomb plant there's going to be quite enough money for Tricked. Maybe, to be fair, yeah, lost bonus stacked up, so I think there might just be. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, I think that's why Tricked back away from A long there, because they don't have the smokes left. They realize they probably can't cross safely. But then what do you do if you don't have smokes on Dust 2? You can't smoke for the mid to B split. There are so few options available to you. They try their best with the run boost. It gets them onto the site, but it costs them a player. And GAMERLEGION remained in control of the round. Bubsky pushing A long. Quick take from Tricked, and this time GAMERLEGION can't stop that from happening.
But they don't lose any men just quite yet. Oh, Bubsky knows his angles. Able to find one through the smoke. That's pretty big, right? Because as I said with the buy, it's not perfect. It's definitely there, but it's not perfect. Deagle in play. Lack of utility on some of the players. Obviously, they've used some now, but we'll see. GAMERLEGION, they've got to try and pick up the pieces. That is very unfortunate, right? Because they kind of play it right. There's so many players, there's so much utility coming in. I think moving away is the best decision. However, over the top of the fire, they go down, and the A bomb site has fallen off the back of that, right? They were trying to group up together and hoping that maybe they would back off and try and mind game them, go B, something along those lines. Not going to happen. They've got a man advantage here pretty solidly. Shush on the Deagle is lurking around, so that's going to be an issue if they're not able to deal with it. It does look like Dragon is lagging behind, but is he watching the B player? He starts to move, but I think they might just have spotted each other if you look at that body language on the map. Meanwhile, up through short come the CT side. They've got to try and find some frags here. It's not quite happening. Uh-oh, Nork has got to do it all, and he can't get it done. Hunden absolutely loving it, as it is hard fought towards the end. They do possibly, you know, get a bit complacent, you could say, but 16-13 on their opponent's map pick, Hawker. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Tricked. A slow start that they managed to pull back with 7 in a row on the CT side. They're looking good. No crack showing.
Yeah, we expected Dust 2 to be one that was up in the air. We expected it would be close, and I thought that start that GAMERLEGION got might be enough to just push them through. But credit to Tricked for coming back into that first half so strong. They really showed, I think, that their ability to be a solid team, to just grind out rounds with the structure they have in play, and that is a really worrying prospect now for GAMERLEGION. They could not really afford to lose Dust 2 here.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really, really difficult one. But I think ultimately, you know, GAMERLEGION, they show potential. Draken actually looking really good on the AWP, so you never know on Train, a very AWP-heavy map as well on that CT side. They're going to get to pick the side also, so it will kind of be interesting to see whether they can pull it back. But I'm not sure. It's kind of a difficult one, isn't it, really? Like, they perform very well towards the end, but they kind of needed it earlier on, right? They kind of needed it earlier on. There's a lot to break down there. There's a lot to break down in that game, but of course that's not our job. That's James and the boys on the desk.
Oh, yes, that is our job. Thank you, Scriv and Hawker. An exciting Dust 2 that looked like it was going to go the full distance. Potentially even an overtime might have crept in there. But Hunden and the boys on Tricked got the job done on GAMERLEGION's pick. And I'm going to start with this point. Draken and Nork were dominating. They were so activated. They were hitting the shots. They were looking strong. I was saying, okay, this is seriously GAMERLEGION stepping up. They're going to make this a 3-mapper potentially. But no, even that wasn't enough for these guys, their individual skill. Bubsky wasn't really activated on the Trick side, right? And it just proves that they don't need that. They can just play their game. They can win in the smart sense of it as well. But the man you guys were talking about earlier, Akor, he was having a really solid game.
Yeah, Akor seems to be the most consistent player for Trick at the minute, which is pretty crazy because you're always talking about Bubsky being that top star, but he's not really being too consistent. You know, Akor's been there at the top every single time, and a player that stepped up in a big way here was Roje.
Oh yeah, Roje, or as Scriv likes to say, Roy. My dad. Every time I heard that, I was like, is that my dad's name? My dad's just started to jump in and
hopped on the server. Why not? You did a great job there, Roy.
Get the whole family in.
Yesterday, let's go.
So for Trick, one thing that was interesting was they didn't do too well in opening duels, but you could see the reaction, especially on their T side. Whenever they would lose a player, it was always in the back of a strategy. It wasn't like they were going out, overextending, and just dropping a player for info. Often they would have a reactive play, like coming up through short. Now, some of the rounds didn't work for them, but they would still manage to get their flashes over. Okay, Hunden, first man in, usually going to be falling down. When they were going through short, he fell to the op of he fell to the op quite a lot, whether it was Knock or it was Draken. But they still managed to then blitz towards the bomb site and only losing one player, get a bomb plant down so frequently.
Yeah, you touched on the point, the fact that there's 1, 2, and 2 great on opening duels over on Trick. That is 100% true. Draken was 7 and 2 in opening duels on that CT side when things finished off, right? So pretty crazy stuff. Freddy B doing the damage. He's got 4 opening duels. Same with Hampus. So they're just winning every one of these opening fights, which just is a testament to how strong the system is on Trick, that they're able to recover from that.
And when I talk about recovery, this was the epic recovery from Trick that they can deliver. GAMERLEGION were up 6-1, and then it ended up in an 8-7 half. GAMERLEGION's going to be kicking themselves. T side, they were looking dominant. I was thinking, oh boys, okay, GAMERLEGION have come to play. And then they just lost it. But this is the power of Trick. Hunden can grab those guys together and say, this isn't acceptable. We're going to this now. We're going to fall back into what we know. We're going to use this default. He had a plan. He had a setup to play into. And that's when they really started to get going.
Yeah, in the way this game went, really, I feel like GAMERLEGION had a chance to win it, but the fact that they didn't pick it up, the series is looking rough.
Like we were saying, right, you need 9 to 10 T rounds realistically at the moment because everyone can have these incredibly strong T sides, especially on a map like Dust 2 where it's less tactical, that you can get away with the SGs and stuff being used. And despite the best efforts from the side of GAMERLEGION when they're bringing out all the AWPs that we looked at, that wasn't even enough.
Well, when you look at actually the T side on Dust 2, most CIS teams are now opting to start there if they win knife rounds or if they get the choice. It's a map that definitely plays into that, especially with creep meta. I would prefer to start out in the T side. But Trick obviously had a fantastic recovery on the CT, move over, and yeah, sure, it looked like a close scoreline overall, but again, this is the downfall of picking Dust 2 as your map pick. If you're going to be picking a map, it should be something that you're comfortable with and not something that gives even footing towards your team. And for Trick, moving on to Train, I mean, GAMERLEGION have got to be really kicking themselves for letting their lead go, and now for a series that looks pretty bleak.
Yeah, it was a bleak series indeed. If you think, imagine going 6-1 right in your head on your T side, you're thinking this is great, and then you just can't get any more rounds together. Then you go into a CT side, and Trick, they're just not slowing down after that. They were looking strong. They were managing to get that pistol round. They were managing to do some serious damage, and then GAMERLEGION were on the back foot after having such a significant lead. And my main thing is that we look at all the star players on this GAMERLEGION roster. We're looking at the highlights. They were able to get so many individual kills, but they still weren't picking up the round wins, and that's where it's at. It's that you can't just be good individually. The team work has to start to show.
That's the edge that Trick have, right? We're talking about the fact that they've got individuals as well. Maybe not as much individual skill as GAMERLEGION have, but they've got enough individuals and the system to back them up and take them over in the small edges. We've seen GAMERLEGION. We were sitting in the green room freaking out when Hampus was hitting some of these crazy spray darts. There was just some incredible plays coming across the board from GAMERLEGION, and that's really the type of stuff you expect to win them Dust 2, but it wasn't the case here, and it's really looking good for Trick.
Yeah, Trick right now are going into their map pick confident of the way they came back into the game, because for a man like Hunden, right, he knows the chips were down. They were looking like, oh god, this is a terrible Dust 2 for us right now. How do we come back into it? He managed to rally the troops back together. They came back into it. The players started to do well, and now they're going into Train with huge levels of confidence where GAMERLEGION will be thinking, we nearly had it. What went wrong? Like, it's definitely going to be a hard, tough talk being had right now.
I don't know how many times Freddy B has had the luxury of IGLing when you move towards a Train for GAMERLEGION. But one thing I will mention is that for GAMERLEGION, this is actually a map that they really like to ban, only if they know the other team doesn't play Nuke, because they do not play it. So 20% of the time they first ban Train. Depends on their opponent's map pool. And this time, this is another weakness of having such a limited map pool and a benefit for Tricked, who, okay, they played Vertigo 3 times, and after that, I think the next map statistics is like 9 or something. So they have such a wide map pool that they can force GamerLegion to leave at least one uncomfortable one through.
And Draken, right? He kept it going from yesterday. We started to shine on that last map. He still delivered here, but it wasn't enough even alongside Nork, because a man like Roger here, 29 kills up on the board. He was having a field day with the Swedes.
Yeah, he finished on obviously 101 ADR. That's pretty incredible. Draken actually beats him out on that stat, but for Roger, he had the system to make him be successful, right? Draken was having to do a lot of the heavy lifting for GamerLegion. A stat that isn't on the screen that's a really good head-to-head to look at is the fact that Draken won 7 opening duels, whereas Roger only had to win 2.
Yeah, he was playing in for the spray downs, the clutches, the making the magic happen there when it was really vital for Trick to come back into it. But going into Train, what I like is both Nork and Draken have found their flow on Dust 2 with Warping. They were both delivering, and they were both going for those different style of plays. Nork starting to push through smokes a little bit more, fighting off, taking the challenges head on. And Draken, he was all over the place. He's back to that hyper-aggressive style we wanted to see from him. On Train, that might benefit them. I can see that easily. Have both Orps, one on A, one on B, and try and lock down Trick to not allow them to kind of stretch their legs on their T side.
Sure, but we know Acor is very comfortable on this map, and that's going to be the biggest challenge for them, because he had a phenomenal time on Dust 2, and now moving into more of a comfort ground, and we saw that against Gambit Youngsters, where he completely shut Shiro out.
You mentioned it before these graphics came up, Mitch, and what you said was sounding bad. This looks even worse. My lord, not a single game won in the last set of games we're looking at here. Obviously, they have won 3. They've lost 11 in total, but this is awkward. They've even had overtime games against the Virtus Pro, and this is a Virtus Pro that doesn't look that good at the moment. Movistar Riders couldn't close that one out. Admittedly, some of these games are closer, other than the Harvu game, but it proves again that they choke when it comes to closing it out.
Exactly, but at least this Virtus Pro team haven't looked good at all, right? But the one thing they always seem to do well on is Train. They always put up a good fight on this map. So
we
that's
watched
the only
Virtus Pro
positive I
play
can
Train like 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
Every game was like, yeah, Train, best
They
of
would pull
one.
it out. One thing I will say there is, you look at the Sprout game that they lost for GamerLegion, and that's coming up against an opera like Searson when you've got a little bit more range. And I think Draken was playing there as well, so they Draken and Knock. So even if one opera's not feeling it, you can swap it over. Now you're coming up against Acor, and again, this is just, he is on another level to the uppers that they're facing in these other games. He's already shut out one of the best AWP players in this tournament, Shiro. I really don't see positives for GamerLegion in this, except like maybe the fact that Bubsky wasn't fragging, maybe that can tilt it in their favor.
Well, the thing is, Bubsy wasn't fragging in this game. That just means that he's probably going to frag in this next game. That's the scary part. He's just like, he's like, well, Acor, you're doing a pretty good job here, mate. Roger, yeah, this is working.
This is the problem. If he doesn't, then otherwise you're screwed.
And you now need to explain this.
Yeah, so for people that don't follow Bubsky, he put out a tweet of him with it right in front of him down there on the stage. We had while the orchestra's playing. So he was saying, you know, Tube, how many of you out there? Warm up.
We're just like, we don't need the conventional music, but we got a real live band here at the beginning. Ukrainian folk music coming in. I'm down.
Can step up, can be a difference maker. Solid. If he's continuing that, even as in contention here on the Trick side, individuals. But if you've got 3 people showing up, tactical edge, they've got the statistics behind them.
Start talking win conditions here, and let's start with so tough for them. No. positives in reset on train. A map, like you were saying, Mitch, don't have to ban out nuke. This is...
It goes towards Drake, and we've seen it with Knock quite a bit. That Draken's coming in. Maybe it provides a fresh op error side. I presume it's going to be Knock just based on the CT side as well, obviously. Then we expect Draken to do Quill if they're going to have a chance against Tricked. Again, you're looking towards conditions that are outside of GAMERLegion's control have to come into effect. Like Hunden just forgets how to play Train.
Could you?
It's likely. I mean, you know, it's not like he's played it for many years.
Yeah, about to say many years. Like, we can really roll back the years.
Underneath the Trick, like, well, it won't work. And
it's like, oh no, Max. Now, Dinko, when it comes to Tricked, it's looking all positive in their favor. But is there a way where they blunder this, or is it just going to be?
Puta. Itigil ko yung laban. Di magpalag yung isa, kay lamang nagud sila.
A straight 2-0
so far, and the way they played in that first map, I don't think this is why Trick lose this. The way they're playing is just so strong. Bubsky was a little bit weak on Dust 2, but like you said, he has the potential to turn it on straight away. So, like the more solid team, the more solid unit.
Good fight back, they might show something we've never seen before. But say we have it where Trick do win this, they go to grand final. With game when you're had a stand-in player. That's GAMERLegion that can, because from what I've seen, there is more than just Nip and Fnatic now, and they're not just using GAMERLegion as like a feeder team. There's some potential with these players at the moment.
Yeah, with 2-0 over 4s is not easy. Loads of teams struggle with that, right? So a really good result for GAMERLegion getting this far, and still have a chance to go even further, right, if they somehow win Train. But this team, I think, it's quite strange because they have so many players in so many different roles, and they all seem to want to do the same role. And it seems like a shop window, really, for me. I always use that term because it's players that are looking to get onto the bigger teams, and they just keep putting the performances in and trying to show that they are relevant so that they get picked up. But I do think there's the possibility of having a third team within Sweden. I think Trick is that for Denmark. Well, fourth maybe, actually, because it's so big. They've got Heroic as well. And you've got so many teams here rivaling for the spots.
Let's have this discussion, boys. Let's do this while we've got a bit of time. Top 3 within Denmark right now.
Astralis.
Obvious.
I'd say Heroic over North.
Honestly. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay. So then North, maybe third place.
Definitely not. I disagree with you there.
I'm
going Trick,
yeah.
Okay.
North are literally in a struggle
North have product
right
value, like name value, right? Like you say, you're playing North. Like, oh, let's take a look at the result. Okay, good. It's like, cool. Yeah. Glad it's not Tricked.
I'm gonna actually agree with you. I think Tricked are definitely better than North. I think North have had some.
I want to see I'm just visioning this in my head. I need to see a North versus Tricked, like best of 3.
Yeah, we should just have a Danish CSGO tournament with all these teams just play each other.
No, what you have is Astralis already in the #1 spot, right?
Yeah,
they're just waiting in the grand final, and everyone else is fighting through, and then they're just sat there at the victors at the end going, now you've got to face us, unlucky boys.
And the thing is, 5 just to make sure.
And the thing is, they've went and got 2 Danish players for Complexity, because you know they're still world-class players. They can just go grab and bring them over to Complexity. You've got so many great Danish players available, and for a team like Trick, this is a perfect time to prove their worth as a team.
And this is it, right? We spoke about it. They had V4. If they can go and grab this event as well, it's continuing just the striving forward. And despite Trick being on this tier 2 to tier 3 level, out of all the teams here, they're the closest to break up and be regulars that we could see qualifying for the big events.
I'm thinking back because I did leave my notebook downstairs and I had the V4 results written down per map. I don't know if you guys have them.
I've got it.
Train. So how did Train go in that matchup? Because they played it, right?
So they didn't play. Yes, they did play Train. It was 19-16 to Tricked. It was 16-9 Inferno GAMERLegion. It was 16-8 Overpass Tricked, and it was 16-5 Mirage Tricked.
So they took, and that's what I was wondering, whether that was a 69 or an overtime. They actually took them to overtime, but again, this is looking at a lineup that doesn't have Dennis.
Very different GAMERLegion, but it's time turning. Everything is in motion. But which way is this going to go? Could we be looking at a 2-0? Or will we be going to a third? And Skriv once again to bring you all the action on the train yard. Started there and then.
Yes, thank you very much, James. Indeed, that is kind of the million-dollar question at this point, right? Train, not a great map for GAMERLegion, but when teams have their backs against the wall, it's all about whether, you know, they can push back, whether they remain where they are, whether they kind of just swing around, pull out a sledgehammer and, you know, go for something a bit different, knock the wall down, right? And just kind of go through unexpectedly. And I think these are the kind of crunch moments that turn the good teams into the great teams, where the GAMERLegion can come onto a map that Sure, they play it, but they're not massively comfortable. If they're able to take it, that's where we go, wow, actually, GAMERLEGION.
We've already seen Tricked play this map in this tournament, though. Against that Gambit Youngsters team, it was very one-sided.
I'm certainly trying to, like, you know, give them the benefit of the doubt on the Swedish side, for sure.
Oh, definitely. And we've seen Gambit Youngsters go on to have further results in this tournament. So almost maybe even looks a bit better now. Acor was seemingly shutting down Shiro on the AWP. So, sure, GAMERLEGIon, but Acor on the other side.
Indeed. Let's see how it goes. Trick going to be starting on the T side, so that is something for GAMERLEGIon. It's out through T-Con, and they are not really finding the frags on the CT side of things. Draken gets one, taken down. Drops the bomb, however, and has certainly got the information in for the rest of the team. They are left very low here. They're going to have to find quick, crispy headshots.
Creeping in from Ivy. Trying to see if he can find a fight, and, well, he finds a fight, just not one he was looking for, because he had no clue where Shush was. Freddie B now has the information, but I doubt he can do much. Quad kill. Again, sometimes a player that maybe flies under the radar for Tricked, but Shush definitely solid for this Tricked side, and this time it's Tricked getting off to a good start.
Yeah, and that's slightly worrisome, right? We had Acor and Roy, which I think me and Mitch are going to fall out about the pronunciation of that one.
I think the Danish pronunciation is Roy. It's just a question of whether we want to say Roje, because we'd probably say it in English like Roje.
Right.
Maybe we should just say both and just annoy everyone.
Yeah, maybe. And Roje popping off on the fact that they've got to deal with. I think Shush is actually kind of one of the quieter players stepping up for Tricked in places. I've seen them online and things like that. They play maps like Vertigo, Dust 2, etc. And Shush looks really good in some of those maps, right, where maybe they're not as comfortable normally. Now, yeah, step up as massively. But here, he's off to a bit of a flying start. 4K, now a 2K. Looking good.
Yeah, I also think he's not a player that's necessarily put in the best roles for fragging. Oh no, knife. Knife for Nort. Nort gets the AK into his hands though, and there is the shot landing. Shush again. Back-to-back multi-kills. This time a triple. Would have been nice for the extra money to be able to afford the AWP or to save the AK, but neither of those are options. Some damage done by GAMERLEGIon against a very weak buy now. So even though a couple of kills came through, I don't know if it's really going to lead to a whole lot for GAMERLEGIon. Just want Nord to get the knife there. It's such a shame that Hunden turns around when he does, but here we go again with the pistol.
Ito, Vice Mayor ng Puro, no?
It's Hampus in the back lines.
This could be problematic. You've got to deal with his teammates here, there, and everywhere. But uh-oh, he gets advantage. He's still alive. Still things up, it looks like. Unless Freddie B on the P250 can do something incredible. Don't quite think it's going to happen, but still, GAMERLEGIon putting up a lot of numbers, doing a lot of relatively good stuff. Ooh. Freddie B goes creeping in. Slowly but surely. Look, spotted out as soon as he goes around the corner, though. So, unfortunately, nothing coming in the end. But, you know, in the early portions of that round, Hampus doing an awful lot of damage. Yeah, let's take a look at these. Just holding the angles, really, which you kind of have to look across the trick. You know, that one's a bit quick. That one's a bit of a movement that he has to make. If you look across the trick, just not quite respecting the deagle there. Do need to be careful just swinging around those angles, you know. Something that Swag, actually, I'm sure a name we're all familiar with, does so well is like holding an angle, but with, you know, space for wide swings kind of thing. Very, very NACS. You know, they do like to go for the wide swings. And on the deagle, you're just going to get your head clapped off. Either way, into the first gun round here, Hawker. It's looking good early on.
That was an AWP that he just dropped. It was the double AWP set up for GAMERLEGIon. We thought that those two AWPs could potentially come through. but Draken has been dropped early. A shame for GAMERLEGION to lose one of their snipers so early on into the round. Tricked are a team that once they get the man advantage can oftentimes trade it out very successfully, just kind of crunch their opponents. Got plenty of time to make the most of this man advantage, and Hampus whips the spray. That should have been a
personally, laban naman tayo kahit kanino, kahit saan. Pero yun nga, sabi ko sa kanila before nag-umpisa yung laro, yung physical condition talaga ng team natin is medyo mababa na. Tapos sikit galing pa siya sa sakit nung nakaraan kasi nag-uulan dito sa Coron, tapos nagmumotor kami. So, syempre...
Frag, Roy is the orb, not the position he necessarily wants.
My side, time is of the essence. Great for the back of it. It's outside bomb site, it can be so hard for the team done, but no frags found so far. It's all onto Freddie B. He has no idea, he knows where two of them are at, but not the third. Gonna look to save the AWP instead. Will back away with it, but it's a fourth round for Tricked already, and GAMERLEGION, you know, starting to worry, I think. They are showing big issues early on, right? That was a round where it's a little closer, but it's like as soon as they go into the retake, they just don't have enough information. Sure, they're a man down. They just don't, that when the bomb goes down,
normal yan eh. Even sa Manila pa nagpupustahan kami. Alam naman namin yung physical na laro lagi nandun eh. Pero isang malaking factor talaga yung bumigay na talaga yung katawan. Plus syempre, nagkaka-physikalan nga. Syempre, mas madaling tamaan ng pagod yung players natin. Kaya,
start to work in favor of the T side, right? Even if he'd have found that frag, not Acor, sorry. I believe Freddie B, if he'd have found that frag, it would have looked really good for him. Thing is, it's like as soon as he shows himself, he's going to get peeked by someone else. So even if it's just so many angles you're open to on the A-bomb site.
Yeah, I think the A site especially, there's to be a bit different where you can get on your opponents, but we saw the replay there of Roy's opening kill. He just took an aim fight against Draken, who was holding with the AWP, and again, the SG in his hands has looked so deadly. This time around, Roy or Roj or whatever we're calling him has taken early damage, so he decides to take the AWP out of Acor's hands. Tricked are going to group up for a B play, but GAMERLEGION are one step ahead.
Oh, Rusty. Potential was there, dealt with. It's all onto Freddie B with this ult that he'd saved into this round. Now either going to have to fight his way out or look to save once again. It's going to be hard for him. There's so much utility coming in. A player right next to him. Oh, I think he's kind of tracked him down, and he has. Bubsky will get the drop on him completely. They're at fifth round in a row for Tricked Esports. It's looking pretty good here. Shush is on 12 kills.
He got 10 of those in the first 3 rounds as well.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy. He's on for a pretty decent scoreline if he can keep that one going.
5-0 start, and I don't think Tricked have really been tested too heavily in these early rounds. They found success with some A plays. That round they take the B site. Into round number 6, and Nade lands on Hampus, who didn't move away from it.
I think this is very worrying as well, though, the way that it's been going for Tricked so far. It's like GAMERLEGION, if they are to get anything done, I think it's going to be on the CT side. This round they open up. Okay, there was no sidewalk smoke there. That was a chance for Freddie B, but it doesn't matter. They just mow him down, and the B bomb site falls, just like that.
Shush pushing into the back lines. He's had such a strong time. Rusty wins out. Struggle to hold the bomb. And Bubsky trapped on the site, and they've got so many angles to deal with. It's all on Herndon. He will hit the deck. Remain in control of the situation. Finally.
Takes them an awful lot of time, but they get it. They also survive with 4 players here, so it's kind of like the comfort going into the next round also there. It's not etc. We should.
I think the fast flank from Hampus was the difference maker in this round. As soon as you control that ramp and upper position, Tricked do not have many angles to watch that bomb. He even got a kill through in the ramp position, and then where can Trick play to watch the bomb, especially when it's planted deep? Too much trouble. And I think Hampus just pushed up Pop Dog, right? Like, he just knew that Tricks were fully committing to B off the back of that.
Kind of a sensory overload, isn't it? With all the information, too much information almost, right? And checking between so many angles, you can't really commit to one type of a play. Do I go through the smoke, but then there's a guy behind me, but then there's also a guy on the side. It's a crazy kind of round. The Legion are the ones making it crazy, dictating the pace. They come out on top of it. The question now is, what can they turn it into? Great damage coming in. This chip damage onto the T side is so important for the CTs to get consistently. Draken up high, will manage to get one, as yet to be dealt with. He will eventually get taken down. Shush aggressive, picks up Hampus. He knows there's another player around here, but he's unsure of where it's at. Freddy B using this ladder for information, gets spotted out. Hunden will spray him down. Rusty's inside the smoke. Shush trying to find him, not going to happen, but it's Hunden who's stepping up in this round. Picks up a 2K so far, as well as getting the bomb down, as well as being in a great position to deal with Nork. Sixth round, but no room at all for GAMERLEGION to work with. No chance at all, it feels like. Flipping away their CT side now with hardly any rounds. Not a great deal of money to good enough.
Yeah, and it is scrappy from Tricked. It is not necessarily the time where they're happy to go for the executes and really methodically clear out all the angles. But the pace and the trades that come through are what really managed to win them that round as they take the A site. And I do think that it's a bit of a risk to play fast against this GAMERLEGION team. In those scrappy exchanges, you'd think that GAMERLEGION have the chance to just win out some battles. But right now, Tricked are making it work with some quick plays. They have also taken some slow rounds, but I think they just wanted to quickly press the advantage, make sure that they instantly cause issues for GAMERLEGION. The pressure is definitely on GAMERLEGION right now because it doesn't look like GAMERLEGION are able to deal with them right now.
Draken will open up though, and that is something for them. Bit of breathing room perhaps, but they will continue to push forward, and look at Leroy Jenkins just charging straight in there. Beautiful stuff, 4 on 4 coming in now. Rusty on the edge of the smoke though, does pull it back. Roy getting a bit ahead of himself perhaps. The frag's still being dealt with by the T's though, and the thing is, you know, you're trading evenly, doesn't suit you on the T side, on the CT side I should say, rather, but okay, just like that, gonna clean the round up. And I think Trick taking a few too many individual gunfights there, and towards the end, not winning them, right? In the middle, they're able to trade things back, but ultimately does not go their way. So GAMERLEGION in with a second. If they can recover it back to making it as close as possible, you know, only being down by like 3 rounds at the end of the half, or maybe it comes to like an 8-7 you could see. There's a slim chance it goes to like a 9-6, you know, and they win the next 7 rounds in a row, particularly because Trick have forced into this one. But ultimately, it's all about damage control and, you know, softening the blow going into the second half here for GAMERLEGION. Last round it was Draken, this round it's Nork. Both the AWPers feeling it.
Yeah, still quite early in this half. Can't really be talking about halftime scorelines just yet, at least not with much confidence. Smoke goes out. Freddy B not having too much information to work with. UMP is not the best weapon here though. The long-range fights favoring GAMERLEGION, and Freddy B is doing a good job with the AUG. Tricked not really having enough nades to actually close the distance onto the site there. They ended up having to take some long-range fights with weak weapons. GAMERLEGION didn't really look like they were tested too much in that round. They looked like they were always going to come out on top. Now, Tricked should be in some trouble. I think GAMERLEGION can start to build up some round wins here, and we should also see that double AWP come out if they want to go for it, because they are now building up the money. Maybe you don't need 2 AWPs against full Glocks, though.
True. Should be an easy cleanup here. Tricked are, you know...
They might get the bomb down on B, though.
Oh, yes, 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 that is a very good spot. Freddy B going to try and deny it, and he gets distracted out. Oh, just about. That's a shame. That is a shame for them. because that was awfully close. It's a fourth round in for GAMERLEGION, no, relatively clean, not, falling to any silly shenanigans. Now within 2, which essentially translates to 1 rifle round. Tricked will be looking to pull this one back, though the utility's not fantastic. So set pieces that they like to fall back on, probably not going to be as reliable, as strong as they usually are. So we'll see here from Tricked whether they are indeed able to pull it back or not. Kind of have to, because GAMERLEGION hot on their heels.
Quite a few mollies exchanged at the start of this round. Tricked's money wasn't perfect though, so even though they've got the full weaponry, it's at the cost of missing some utility. And that's a potential problem for Tricked here. Only a couple of smokes and a couple of flashbangs to try and get them onto the bomb site. We've seen them try and go for fast plays, not really relying on the nades as much. They haven't really worked too well. 3 smokes should be enough to just about eke out and execute.
Yeah, it's going to be a relatively basic one, though. And the thing is, only 2 flashes. Not going to be ideal. Really why he come through. Everything has been their way in. I'm not quite sure what this close smoke is. Draken's up on the boost, picking up 2. Drops a bomb, 40 seconds left. That's got to be recovered, but they've all good. But creeping in is Shoosh for him now on the board. And he will man left low is eliminated, but the T side are prepared. Shoosh has made his way in towards heaven. He's creeping back down, as it's not really expected. The key thing here for GAMERLEGION is the fact that the bomb has not been planted. It's now in their hands, and it's all onto Shoosh. He can't get it done as he's not ready for Freddy B. 5th round for GAMERLEGION. That was certainly an up and down one.
Yeah, that was just too easy for Draken at the start of the round to get those 2 kills. Players go flying up the ladder. They're not going to be accurate as they land on top of the train. It's really easy for Draken to land those shots. Just don't think that Tricked were expecting him to be in a position where he could see them so easily, because he's elevated up on the top of Connector. He's got a really good angle to watch the top of that train, and the rest of Tricked weren't ready to push onto the site itself quickly enough to really trade. Even though Shoosh was able to do some damage, it wasn't really enough, and there is an opening kill for Tricked here. Only pistols for them, so they definitely needed that.
Nade deep in Ivy. Not going to land though, GAMERLEGION. It's not looking too good. They start to dwindle down the utility. Just waiting patiently here on the Tricked side. That kill comes in so early, they've got a lot of time to actually work with. Creeping through B is Bubsky, but he's creeping back towards his teammates. They're going to go peeking. Nice from Rusty. That was required. That was needed massively. Roy going to fall as well to the AWP of Nork. And now, yeah, the round's kind of like, maybe not. 3 can recover things back. The B-bomb site kind of exposed. You do expect this, though. An organ hand for Freddy B from the back of the site. Quite to do the damage that he wants to. Ooh, might not have caught this player. He does. A-Core, though, going to try and go for the bomb plant. No? Okay, fake coming in, so he's not going to hold for the... Let's see. He's confident in himself. He does get the first. Bomb goes down. Deagle in hand. 4 bullets. Can't afford to miss. He misses 1. He misses 2. He misses 3. He does beginning to close. Look at that damage, but no frags. That's unfortunate for A-Core. But GAMERLEGION are happy with that, right? They don't care if they're on low HP. They care that they've won the round. They survive with 3. So it's not a bad result. And they've now evened things up, Hawker. Maybe, just maybe, they can bring it back to the 9-6 half.
Yeah, starting to string some rounds together, but at the same time, on the T side of Train, Trick don't need too much more.
And you know what's a lot better here from GAMERLEGION is the fact that pretty much everybody is fragging. Yeah, there's 2 frags between the bottom and the top of the scoreboard, and pretty much everybody chiming in. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, it's Shoosh doing most of the work.
Wow. Utility in play for Trick this time round. This is when Tricked are normally at their best, when they have the full buys, full utility to really use and make sure that they can try and take advantageous fights. Hunden playing a slightly dangerous game there, but he jumps back to safety. Nade damage done to 2 Tricked players. Roy and Acor taking the brunt of that early damage. It was a nade landing at Ivy. Hampus is also playing a somewhat dangerous game. There's a player down the ladder. Bubsky completely catching Hampus off guard. Good way to start. Slow play coming through. Freddie B blinded at upper is going to hang around. There's a chance that he can maybe catch some players out, but Hunden's there for the fast.
And now Trick slow it down. Instead of just bursting on towards B, I'm going to try and trap these players in A via Pop Dog. 1 at Ivy. It's not the biggest amount. Unfortunately, it's not good enough. But Rusty, look at this. He's in behind. Oh, he's in behind. This could be damage. I don't think it's quite going to be enough, though. And it's all onto Nork. 1 versus 2. Contact. Moving quickly. The timing going to be absolutely everything at him, but he's not spotted anybody. And I believe that player has managed to back off towards E-Box. They'll now hear him drop as the peak will come through. They see that he's not on the bomb. The molly onto the bomb. He has to in and around E-Box is just a bait because it's Roy in from behind. Beautifully played from Trick there. Rusty had to be dealt with quickly, and he was. The 2K is not enough, as Trick just seemed to be that one.
Yeah, and I think Hunden's having a bit to where he Hunden to put up numbers for this Trick these rounds, just finding kills here and there for his squad. Again, flashback to that V4 Future Sports Festival, which Tricked won. He only had a 0.8 rating. He was negative in most games, but they were able to win with the rest. He's having a quiet time. It's nice to have Hunden also fragging in there and gets the best of Bubsky.
Managing to pull it back. Bit of chip damage there onto Hampus. Trick being tested. They're going to look to rush out towards A. Awful lot of damage. But bounces out. Hey, don't peek it. Don't be peeking it. Don't be moving from E-Box. Rusty, you've got to stick to the floor. He definitely knows you're there now. Going to try over the top. Allows him a bit of an escape, but it also allows the T's to start to push out. Draken holding the crack angle. Flash to come through. Not really going to blind anyone. However, North solidifies the advantage here. Looking so good for GAMERLEGION. Low HP on Acor, but he's still continuing to find frags. Gets another. Playing up and down towards Connector. He's making a lot of noise, I think is the idea, because Roy is pushed in. Yes, this is it. And Draken goes, what the hell? How does he make it? They got the pieces. Oh, no. Game, it is slipping away. Freddie B has got to save them for this back from a 3 versus 5 after the early round. It's not looking good, and Roy will take him down. No, GAMERLEGION. That is not what massive round to be losing. Tricked are just so hot.
That's the way. Having individuals pull them through rounds is quieter, but that first flick was very nice. And then where he can cause havoc on the site itself. Again, Acor's Orc has maybe been a bit quieter here on Train than we would expect, but good round from him there. And now GAMERLEGION are forced back to a weak bye for the last round of the half. Draken has already been taken out of the round. Hampus was the one man with money, so he's the man picking up the Orc this time round. And the boost is coming in. Rusty very well prepared for that one and gets the follow-up. Smart play from Rusty with the FAMAS to double down. He's open.
Yeah, what has happened here? Legion shook for sure panicking with the rotations. It's going to allow the bomb to go down at the very least. Obviously got to go for this. It is the final round of the half. Hampus finds the player up close. Rusty picks up Bubsky. Hunden then. Let's see what you got, buddy. He's got a Molotov in hand, a smoke and a flash to work with as well. Smoke going to go down initially, I should say.
He can't do it.
The defuse is coming in, yeah, and they catch it at the perfect time because he's in transition already, like preemptively towards ramp. That's a bit unfortunate, but GAMERLEGION, I'm not sure that 7 rounds is going to be enough for them on their CT side of Train, where I felt they would be a bit stronger, right? The double up setup comes out in a couple of the rounds and works in a couple of the rounds, but ultimately, Tricked are able to pull it back. And I mean, come on, man, that 14th round should not be losing that. That was actually a chance, you know, for it to be GAMERLEGION with the 8 next to their name rather than Tricked.
Yeah, for GAMERLEGION, one upside is that Rusty is having a really good game here. He's one of the players that has been quiet throughout this tournament. He's had a couple of rounds with the FAMAS even. I like that he realized he could spam down the second player. What was that shot from Hampus? Okay. I think he just saw the muzzle flash almost.
Yeah. No scope. That's all I just heard. We can so behind us, obviously with the stadium, you know, it's in Russian. And it's kind of, it like bleeds through. It's not massive, it's not that distracting and things like that, but obviously we're just a bit quiet there, and I think they've just had the same replay. Obviously I don't understand Russian at all, but then, you know, just no scope, came through. My terrible attempt at an accent. Either way, here we go, into the second half. Pistol getting underway. GAMERLEGION are going to need to pick up the pieces in a big way. On the T side of Train, it's not a comfortable map for them. You would assume that it's the T side that they're generally weaker on. So Tricked have got an awful lot to work with, and look at the aggression coming in here. There's a lot of players. Oh, why don't we switch off of it? What's happened there? It's Hunden picking up a 2K, for goodness sake. Draken the only one left. And it's fallen apart. Tricked reading them like a book, right? There were so many players there for the T side, sure, but there are so many for Tricked, and Hunden secures his 3K. That is Hunden at his finest, right? Not only is he picking up the kills, but he's also, you know, he has worked on that.
Yeah, that's got to be Hunden doing his homework there. To commit 4 players to pushing B that early in the round, you must know that it's very likely that GAMERLEGION are going to go for that sort of play. And, well, Hunden's homework pays off. Not only for the round win, but for his fragging count. 9-7 lead now for Tricked. And the advantage of that play is that when you push through B, you're not going to allow the bomb to be planted if the players are there waiting for you. If you can win those fights, you're not going to be susceptible to that second round force buy, which can be so deadly. It's just going to have to be the eco.
So yeah, Tricked going to get a pretty solid lead, it looks like. 3 rounds is enough for them to work with, and we saw on Dust 2 they did really well at bouncing back when they lost a round, immediately kind of retreat. Easy peasy. Triples money. Made for the MP9s. Here we go. GAMERLEGION, they're going to need to get this rifle round on the point where it's like they'd want to get this one. You know, it would be good to get this one. The next one they're going to. But obviously in their minds, that's not going to happen. We're coming at it from like an objective, impartial standpoint where definitely they could lose this, but they could also win it. GAMERLEGION, hopefully their confidence, their morale is looking good. This is one of the issues, you know, with the, I think, Swedish style of being a little bit closed off. It can be good in the sense that you don't get too emotional, as we saw Forza maybe get. But at the same time, some emotion can be good. Hampus, meanwhile, the Terminator there. He manages to find the opener as Tricked are getting aggressive, and it's being checked. That's a messy one for Bubsky, up and down the ladder. Hampus finds another, and yeah, Tricked are sort of getting a bit giddy. I'm not so sure about the decision-making here for so many of their players to get aggressive. Maybe the first one you can agree with, right, for an information play. Team surely should just fall back.
It's a bonus round, though. They've got 4 MP9s. I think they're just willing to get some kills. They can actually compete.
Right.
They can't really hold the sights with the 4 MP9s, and you can see their money's good enough that they'll probably buy in the next round. So I think the idea is fights. The advantage is if you win the fights with the MP9 up close, which is very doable, then you get the SGs. Then you can really start to compete in the round if you recover the rifles. Sadly for Tricked, though, losing every single battle is not... Funnily enough, it's Hunden who's got the one rifle for the team. See what he can do with it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not ideal. They know exactly where, at the very least, one of them is coming from. The bomb being planted now as well. I think the ultimate goal for these two players, stacked on top of each other in Pop Dog, is to just save what they have. In and out of the smoke goes Hunden. They want to go up. Maybe they'll come down. Acor holding the ladder, Hunden to hold the door. Double flashes going in, but as they move up, they're so prepared on the GAMERLEGION side. So a flawless first rifle round coming in for GAMERLEGION. That is definitely how they wanted to start things here in the second half. Going to need to continue it forwards, though, because as you said, bonus buy from Tricked. Probably going to have a decent enough buy coming into this round. And the thing is, as well, Tricked have done so well across the course of this series and tournament of adapting to their opponents.
I don't think it will quite be a perfect buy for Tricked.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, again, some SMGs in play. The upside is they've got the AWP for Acor. Good utility this time around, so they don't have to take as many risks with so many SMGs.
This is why sometimes I'm not like a massive fan of those kind of bonus buys, because it's like, you know, you can have like a half buy in the one round, okay buys, rather than having a really strong buy. I think it's kind of difficult, though. In the current economy, Nork will open up, but Bubs will trade him.
Tricked early on certainly limits the options of GAMERLEGION. They look for the aggression through Ivy onto the A-bomb site. Draken probably had the chance to get the kill there against the MP9 at range. Probably could have got that one, but instead he takes a dink. Lots of open positions for GAMERLEGION to try and take advantage of right now. They could push through Ivy. They could try and maybe wrap around. GAMERLEGION begin to set themselves up for a likely A split against 3 CTs ready and waiting.
Crack angle for Draken, not able to find it as the player jumps across. I believe it was Acor, but here we go in towards them's out there. Okay, they will trade him back, but Hampus is being kept away from his team, so they're going to have to do a lot of work here, and they will. Look at that. Rusty and Draken, dynamic duo, looking so good in on the bomb train. Shush, the only one left. 1 versus 3, no kit, no friends, no utility, very little. No hope as Rusty takes his head off. GAMERLEGION, their T side is looking good early on, and Tricked surely now are starting to quiver in their boots.
Yeah, Acor had the AWP in that round for Tricked there, but he didn't really get the chance to use it in the positions he would have liked. He was playing on the bomb train with the AWP, and GAMERLEGION were allowed to get up close. The close-range battles against him, which he clearly wasn't going to be looking for. I'm also very impressed that someone's been able to take over Shush's fragging in this game, considering he got 10 kills in those first 3 rounds. Rusty's overtaken him now, up to 20 kills, just ahead of Shush's 19. Full eco here. Damage done to Freddy B, but information gathered. He's got the bomb, though. He's got to be careful. And Freddy B down to 1 HP. He somehow survives. The Glock comes out. And there we go. Nork closes it out.
Could have been messy. Could have been messy. Maybe if there was a few like upgraded pistols in there even, right? Like a P250 or something. But obviously not wanting to go for it. GAMERLEGION hitting their shots, yeah, and like the pre-fire coming in. You got to have the spray control, drops back. It's very well done. He did have Hampus just next to him, who goes down. But all the same, it's not that costly. They're able to buy back up. 10-10 though, very, very quickly actually into the second half. Wasn't expecting this from GAMERLEGION. If I'm being honest, I thought Tricked, you know, may have lost a rifle round, but then would bounce back. But as I said, the kind of bonus buy decision, but then it's tough because the economy's all over the place. Draken, it's so thick and fast. He's able to get 1, but he gets ahead of himself. There's no time to break things down here. Hawker through the smoke. Oh, he almost falls.
Yeah, really surprising that Draken can just drop down and win that first fight there against Bubsky. But it happens for him so fast in the round. Hunden's playing up on this position at Ivy. you very rarely see CTs play this sort of spot. I highly doubt that GAMERLEGION will expect this. And Hunden actually swings out wide. Confidence shown by the in-game leader. Hampus not able to win that battle, and it's Hunden who gives his team the man advantage.
Yeah, Hunden is actually doing an awful lot of work here for Tricked in some key spots. Not the flashiest, not the biggest, but consistent, which is something that you don't necessarily expect from him. 4 on 3. Time running down, 40 seconds. Got to start to move in. Molly's in towards the site, the bomb creeping forwards, but Hunden, look at him. Quick rotation, quick mind games as he manages to get in behind. He spots out one. He's waiting patiently, he's biding his time. The bomb flank coming in, he'll take out the player at E-Box. It's such a tough position for people to deal with. He knows he's the player at Sandwich as well. He will get traded back. However, the information is in. Surely the rest of the team pick up the pieces. Hunden has to have done enough. Rusty is creeping around towards Hell. It's being watched, however, by Acorn. He finds the frag from on high. Tricked will finally manage to regain their lead. And how often do we see it? As soon as their lead is under contention, as soon as the pressure is starting to mount, they pull it back.
Yeah, and it's Hunden that really steps up there. I think he made the play that put them in a great position to win the round. The rest of the team just had to close it out after Hunden got that first frag at Ivy and then got another one from the flank. So Hunden puts his team back into the lead. And I was wondering, once we got to see the full buys come out from Tricked, where they do have full weaponry, full nades, that's where you'd think they might be able to take over, because they didn't really get a proper full gun round until that point. As soon as they get the full guns out, they get the job done. That could be a trend that continues, but oh my god, Hunden. They must have heard this. They must have heard this, but the nade is not there.
No.
Oh no, Draken doesn't know Hunden's here. Big mistake made. Somehow Hunden gets there safely, and Tricked get away with 2 kills.
They have got deep Ivy control here as well. Something that, you know, the T side usually have. They usually love to have it. Maybe you see some CT aggression, as we have seen here, but it's the fact that there's no one really around to trade things back. They'll regain the control, but only because Tricked give it up, and Hunden's retrieved another smoke here to hold things down, you know, just spotting as soon as Freddie B peeks around. So they're going to try and go for like a 2-man play, you know, the old bait and switch for Nork on the AWP. But as soon as he spots a player, I think the smoke's going to go down. So it's all down to the speed of Nork. And unfortunately, it's not going to be there, yeah. Hunden's like, there's some bullets, here's my smoke. Stay away for another 15 seconds. Unlucky. So the man advantage now really looming over over GAMERLEGION, sorry. Tricked looking so good. Mistakes being made from GAMERLEGION after, you know, a little bit of a good start here to their second half, where they're able to finally get on the board after the pistol and everything once the rifles come into play. But you do make a very good point in the fact that it's like Tricked, now that they are comfortable, are looking a lot better. B bomb site. Is it going to work? Bubsky's up high, look at this.
Yeah, they don't have time to clear up, and oh no, they are not even slightly aware. Bubsky buys so much time. 10 seconds left when he drops the bomb. 5 seconds left now. The round is over, and Shush lands some nice shots at the end to make sure of it. 12-10 lead for Tricked. It just feels like now that they've got the guns out, they could really go on a tear here.
Yeah, I think it is definitely, for a team like this, it's a question of being comfortable. You know what I mean? And like not having to worry about anything other than their game. So not having to worry about utility, not having to worry about, I've got an MP9, he's not got an AWP, you know, that kind of thing.
The other thing for Tricked that I'm really liking about Roy on this team is that he's a very aggressive player from what I've seen from him. He's been involved in so many opening duels in this game. He's 6 for 6, so that's not exactly great, but he's putting up numbers while playing very aggressively, while taking a lot of the opening fights. And that puts his teammates in positions where, you know, if Roy gets the opening kill, you can make sure that you win out the trades. When he has a great game, I think it's very difficult to play against him, just with that style of play he has. And it's nice having another aggressive player in there, especially when you've got good players in the back lines to close it out. We'll see if that can continue. GAMERLEGION have got money. No AWP in play though, just the rifles for now. Full nades for both teams, so this is where we get to see a proper full gun round for both sides. Smokes down by GAMERLEGION early, but no aggression off the back of those early nades. right at the start of the round.
Slowly up Ivy here. We're going to try and boost over the server. Seemingly not, though. They're going to wait for the smoke to dissipate and hope to catch someone off guard. Oh, not going to happen, though. It's a safe smoke once again from Hunden. I believe it's actually a molly, but all the same. Flash to follow up. I know vaguely where he's at. He's got to be very careful from the T-mid angle. Acor's come along to help him out. GAMERLEGION, this is a very transparent play through Ivy. Almost too transparent, making it a bit too obvious. They don't seem to be moving anywhere else, though. They're going to try and go for it, despite the fact that I think the CTs are very ready. Acor gets the collateral through the smoke, and the round's over. Oh my God, tricked! What? That just comes out of nowhere. The 13th round picked up, and if that does not send a message to GAMERLEGION right now, I do not know what will. Hunden is so happy. Oh my God.
Yeah, smile's starting to crack through on the tricked players. Like you said, Hunden is a happy chappy right now, but he's got to focus on this next round. Make sure that you don't fall out against the low buy, because they've done the hard work there. Now they're only against one rifle in this next one. Again, I guess luck for Acor, you could say, to get the shot through. But that's going to happen sometimes, and there is certainly something to be said for reading when the players are going to push. And obviously the rest have tricked. All land their shots to close it out as well. Hunden has spotted this man. Great headshot. Hampus removed from the round, and the SG is long gone for GAMERLEGION.
That's the money as well, right, that he spent into that. It really throws the rest of the economy for a loop, because he's probably going to be on like a Mac 10 when they're all buying. Eesh. Not ideal. Not ideal at all.
Well, tricked go for their standard setup. 4 players on A. Shush solo holding B. And Acor is again quick on the trigger. I barely even saw that player on top of the smoke. Acor finds the headshot. He might be able to do even more here as Freddy B, the last man remaining, decides to switch out his weapons. Acor misses his mark this time round. Might be pushed down here. There's the kill for Freddy B, but he's blinded. He's trapped in the corner. And Hunden, oh no, the knife is out. Hunden is having such a fun time, and they can see each other. He's telling them to be quiet.
Oh, hot damn, Hunden is absolutely loving it. He is giving it. And yeah, it's, you know, the windows here are open, right? So on both sides. So yeah, straight across. Oh, if they caught that GAMERLEGION, I don't know how that's going to make. How do you react to that? Does that make you angry and make mistakes? Does it make you angry and successful? Does it make you sad and disheartened? Do you not react? Being Swedish, it's very difficult to tell how they feel internally. They do a great job of hiding their true emotions. But here we go. Moving in towards round number 25. Bubsky will push forwards. Tricked have been absolutely dominating in the past few rounds, and it continues. Acor's there to help him out. Oh my goodness, Shush coming in from heaven as well, from upper. What is going on? Tricked are absolutely demolishing them, Hawker.
Oh, Nork is snuck up on the A site. Oh, I thought he had the chance to get the kill there, but he only does damage onto Roy. Whatever happens, the bomb has been dropped at the ramp. It is fully in control of the CTs, and Tricked are just decimating their opponents right now. What can Draken and Nork do? 2 players capable of landing shots, and shots will need to be landed. Nork's got the opening kill quite quickly. He's managed to sneak into the site. What has happened? Kills coming in across the board, and out of nowhere, GAMERLEGION are right back in this round.
These rounds have been so crazy. Bubsky is going to manage to pick one up on the flank. Hunden, it's messy, but he gets it. 15th round secured. That one's not quite as clean or as dominant, but because it's so kind of one-sided to begin with, it's hard. It's so hard for GAMERLEGION to bounce back. 5 rounds in a row required to take it to overtime on their own map pick. Tournament life on the line.
Again, Shush at the top of the scoreboard for Tricked, but Hunden has stepped it up dramatically on this map. 2nd top for his team right now in terms of the fragging. Very impressive to see him get back to that form we saw from him in the first day. Back in the group stage, we pointed out that Hunden was fragging. Dust 2, he only gets 9 kills total. Here on Train, it's an entirely different story. And Trickter just 1 round away from the final.
Oh, and they go straight into Bubski's crosshair. Double spray down coming in as they rush through the smoke desperately. GAMERLEGION, their options dwindling, their hope dwindling, their lives dwindling. It is all falling apart. They did well to make it to the top 4. That's what we said. That's what we all said. There's maybe hope that they can go a bit further. The veto is going to be tough, but certainly doable. They needed the Dust 2, it looks like, unless Hampus, Draken, Freddy B. Now is the time to show us what you have got. Now is the time to step it up. And so far, nothing coming their way.
Roy playing the tight angle, and it's a wallbang headshot through the box. Draken and Hampus have it all to do, and it looks almost certain that Tricked will be taking their rightful spot in that grand final. Hampus will try and take a fight, but Shush has been on the B site this whole game long, and he's been locking it down. It's all on Draken. 1 kill back, but 4 more to go. I don't see how on earth he can win this. Bubski decides to reposition, spots the player out. He's heard him drop. Bubski is going to be dealt with. Draken trying to get the bomb planted, but they've got all different angles to face him from. Hunden from above. There's a player at ramp. Draken does his best, but it is Trick taking their spot in the final, and they are yet to lose a map in this tournament. It's been a great run so far from them.
Yes, their first best of 3. We're looking to them to, continue to perform well after the group stage is going really well, and they do. They take their opponent's map pick on a map that, they're comfortable on, but it's not ideal sort of thing, and then they move into a really strong map in the form of Train, and a weak map for GAMERLEGION make quick work of them. The CT side was so dominant, and a lot of it is down to that man there. He's so knowledgeable, he works so hard as an in-game leader, and he actually frags really well there on Train, bails them out of a lot of situations, and he's also absolutely loving it. A knife kill, for goodness sake. Look at him, he is flying right now.
Yeah, clearly no pressure for Hunden in the playoffs, but I believe we get to talk to the man himself. The God Hunden is down on the stage.
For this, 3 days on this game, you are full of happiness right now. A lot of emotions, a lot of something going